Her tiny fingers tugged at his sleeve, her eyes wide and trembling with something he hadn't seen in a long time, pure heartbreak. Snowflakes drifted through the air like cold feathers, and the glowing lights of the town square reflected in his daughter's tearful gaze. Across the street, sitting alone on a bench beside the decorated fountain, was a woman, large, fragile-looking, wrapped in a worn coat too thin for the winter. She held a paper bag of cheap groceries against her chest, her head bowed, her shoulders shaking slightly as people rushed past without even a glance. When his daughter whispered those words, "Daddy, can we bring her home for Christmas?" he felt his chest tighten in a way he wasn't prepared for. He didn't know the woman's name, but in that moment, she suddenly became part of their story, and every instinct inside him said, this Christmas was about to change everything. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of helping others, please like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel to support more emotional stories like this. Jack Marshall had never imagined life would hit him so hard so fast. 2 years ago, he was living a dream, married to the woman he adored, the one who had filled their small home with singing, laughter, and the scent of freshly baked cinnamon rolls every Sunday morning. But cancer had stolen her, slowly, painfully, leaving behind a shattered husband and a 5-year-old girl who still asked every night when Mommy would be back from the hospital. This year was supposed to be better. Christmas was approaching, and Jack had promised himself he wouldn't let grief control their lives anymore. He worked extra shifts at the repair shop, saved every penny he could, and even found a dusty old artificial tree he planned to set up with Lily, his daughter, and decorate with popcorn garlands just like her mother used to make. But sometimes, life has a way of placing new people in your path exactly when your heart is finally ready to open again. That day, after the last of the shop's Christmas discounts rushed through the door, Jack had taken Lily to the town square to let her marvel at the huge Christmas tree that was lit every December. Children played in the snow, couples took pictures, families laughed. Joy was everywhere, except on that lonely bench, where the heavy-set woman sat like a forgotten chapter of someone's life. Even from a distance, Jack could see the pain etched in her expression, the way she clutched her grocery bag as if it were the only thing she had left in the world, the way she avoided every pair of eyes, the way she seemed smaller inside her large body, shrinking into invisibility. He tried to pull Lily away. He didn't want her heart breaking any more than it already had, but Lily stared, unmoving, like she was seeing something no one else could, something holy, something human. "Daddy." "She's cold," she murmured softly as snowflakes settled in the woman's graying hair, "and she's sad." Jack knelt down, pulling his daughter into his coat to keep her warm. He told her they didn't know who the woman was, where she lived, or whether she even wanted help. He tried explaining the world in practical, adult terms, but Lily just looked at him with her mother's same stubborn kindness. "It's Christmas," she said. "Mommy said Christmas is when lonely people get angels." He felt tears burning in his eyes, because that was exactly something her mother would have said. As the woman stood up and slowly walked away, struggling against the cold, Lily whispered again, not pleading but hoping, believing, "Daddy, can we bring her home for Christmas?" Jack shook his head at first. He wasn't a hero. He was just a mechanic trying to keep food on the table. He had no right to interfere in someone else's life. But that night, as he tucked Lily into bed, he noticed she wasn't smiling. She stared out the window toward the snowy world outside and whispered a quiet wish into the darkness, like prayers sent to wherever her mother now lived. He knew he couldn't ignore that. The next day, Jack returned to the square, searching for the woman. He found her at the same bench, feeding breadcrumbs to pigeons, except she wasn't eating anything herself. That detail hit him like a blow. He gathered his courage and approached her. Her name, he learned, was Mrs. Elara Bennett. She had once been a beloved kindergarten teacher. Children adored her. Parents trusted her. Christmas used to be her favorite season, but when her husband passed away 3 years ago from a sudden stroke, she slowly drowned in grief and food became her comfort. She left her job, lost her friends, and eventually the world forgot her. Her weight grew, and judgment grew with it. Every step outside became a battle, every glance from a stranger a wound. When Jack asked if she had anyone left, family, friends, she shook her head. "No one," she whispered. "Just memories that don't hug back." Jack offered to share hot cocoa with her. She refused, ashamed. But Lily, brave and bright as sunlight, ran straight into Mrs. Bennet's arms like she had known her forever. The warmth of that tiny hug fought against years of frozen sorrow. And that was how it began. Over the next week, Jack and Lily made it their mission to bring a little light back into Alara's life. They invited her for meals at a nearby cafe. They walked her home, an old apartment building that smelled of damp walls and forgotten stories. They brought small gifts like warm gloves and Christmas cookies. Each time Alara protested politely, insisting they didn't need to spend anything on her. But Lily always answered with the same cheerful sentence, "You're our Christmas friend." Jack realized with quiet awe that his daughter was healing someone else's heart while mending her own. Still, bringing Alara home for Christmas was far more complicated than Lily could understand. Jack worried about money, space, and what neighbors would think. He worried about every possible thing adults always worry about when kindness should be simple. But love, especially the stubborn kind from a child, tends to win. So on Christmas Eve, after decorating the humble tree in their living room with memories made of paper and glitter, Jack took Lily's hand. They stood outside Alara's apartment door, holding a wrapped box filled with something more valuable than anything purchased in a store. Lily knocked. The door opened slowly. Alara stood there in her worn sweater, shocked to see them. Her apartment behind her was almost empty, aside from a chair and some boxes that looked untouched for months. There were no decorations, no lights, no hint that tomorrow meant anything special. Before Jack could speak, Lily presented the gift. "Open it, please." Alara unwrapped it with trembling fingers. Inside was a photo Lily had drawn. 3 figures holding hands beside a Christmas tree. Above their heads, in shaky but hopeful lettering, were the words, "Our Christmas Family." Alara broke down, her sobs soft at first, then uncontrollable, like years of loneliness cracking open at once. Jack gently placed a hand on her shoulder and said the words he had been afraid to say until that moment. "We'd love for you to join us tonight. Come home with us. For Christmas." For a moment, Alara just stared, unable to believe the invitation was real. No one had invited her anywhere in 3 years. People usually looked past her as if she wasn't worth seeing. But here was this man, this little girl, asking her to belong. She nodded, slow, emotional, and life-changing. That evening was unlike anything Jack had experienced since his wife passed away. They cooked together, Alara humming old Christmas tunes as she prepared mashed potatoes and homemade gravy with a joy that brought color back to her cheeks. Lily danced around them with happiness, as if the house itself had grown larger to hold all the new warmth filling it. They ate until they laughed. They sang carols by the tree. They even watched Lily open a small gift, a stuffed angel doll, which she hugged proudly, saying it reminded her of Mommy. At one point, Jack caught Alara looking at him with a gentle smile full of gratitude and disbelief, like she had stepped into a story she never thought life would give her. Later, when Lily fell asleep under a blanket on the couch, Alara whispered, "You saved me tonight." Jack shook his head. "No, you saved us too." Alara wiped her tears. "Your daughter, she's like an angel." Jack nodded. "She gets that from her mom." There was silence then, not heavy but peaceful, a silence that felt like healing. Before midnight, Jack handed Alara a small envelope. Inside was not money or a card, but a handwritten note offering her part-time work at the local school's aftercare program, starting in January. Jack had quietly arranged the opportunity after learning what teaching once meant to her. Alara pressed the paper to her chest, her eyes wide with trembling hope. "I don't know how to thank you." "You already did," Jack said softly, glancing at his smiling, sleeping daughter. "You gave my little girl back her Christmas." The following morning, sunlight broke through the curtains and touched the living room where Lily and Alara woke up together, laughing at the gifts Santa had left beneath the tree. For the first time in years, both of them felt the magic of Christmas, the kind not made of glitter or ribbons, but of hearts healing in unexpected ways. And Jack knew this wasn't just a holiday memory. This was a beginning. Alara didn't just come for Christmas. Over the weeks that followed, she became part of their life, their routine, their laughter. She joined the school staff and rediscovered her purpose. Her confidence grew, her health improved, and every day she stepped further away from the loneliness that had once consumed her. Neighbors who once ignored her now waved, smiled, even chatted with her in the mornings. The community, slow as it was, learned to see her again, not as the overweight woman on the bench, but as someone with a heart large enough to hold every child who needed an extra bit of love. And Lily? She thrived, because she no longer felt like the only person missing someone. She had gained another person to hug, another person to tell her stories, another person to sit beside her at school plays and whisper, "I'm so proud of you." Jack often watched them together and realized that Christmas hadn't come once that year. It arrived every single day they chose kindness. But there was one moment, weeks later, that remained his favorite. They were walking through the square again, this time with Alara laughing beside them, her eyes glowing against the winter lights. Lily pointed to the bench where they first saw her and said, "Daddy, look! That's where God put our Christmas angel." Alara stopped, tears streaming, but this time they were happy. Jack wrapped an arm around her shoulders, and together they stood there, a family shaped by loss, strengthened by love, and forever changed by a little girl's simple question. "Daddy, can we bring her home for Christmas?" Sometimes the smallest voices ask the biggest miracles. If this story warmed your heart or reminded you of the power of kindness, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more emotional storytelling. Your support helps us continue creating inspiring content. Before you go, please comment below, what does Christmas mean to you? We'd love to read your thoughts and stories. Merry Christmas, and may kindness find its way home.